Now you have guys that are approaching 30 that are still trying to rap. And you're like, rap is a young man's sport.
Cap.
DIY.
All right, DIYers. So it was put on my radar that on a very popular podcast that brings on a lot of important people in the traditional music industry and mainstream hip hop, the Ray Daniels podcast, Juju McLean, A&R from United Masters. I didn't watch this full interview, but I could see just based upon the timestamps, he had a lot of interesting things to say. He has this theory of why 30-year-old rappers should stop rapping. As a 38-year-old rapper myself, I gave him my ears.
Now you have guys that are approaching 30 that are still trying to rap. And you're like, rap is a young man's sport. And the reason I say rap is a young man's sport, you got to think about how you are even positioning marketing, who you're talking to demographic-wise.
I don't like to smile. Like, as he's approaching the conversation, it's almost like he could laugh at any point, or he's expecting everybody else to kind of laugh when he says the words 30-year-old and rapper.
I disagree.
Depends on what your demographic is.
I got you.
So my thing is really targeting your demographic, right? And understanding who your demographic is. If you're 30 years old trying to rap, most we probably live the same type of lifestyle. We've probably done the same type of things or have experienced the same things at our age. I'm 31.
Yeah.
We probably have done the same exact things.
Yeah.
So your demographic is probably that 24 to 34 age.
Yeah.
Who you're really trying to target. But the reality is now a lot of people that are in that demographic are entering into the business world. They're entering into a family lifestyle. They're entering into they have job security. Like they're getting to a place where they're establishing their career. So they're the people that are going to go out on the weekend. They're going to go to a lounge. Their friend might be, they were celebrating their 30th birthday. They're not looking to find a new artist, discover a new rapper.
Of course not.
Cap, I think it really comes down to what your circle of friends are doing. If your circle of friends just so happen to be within the music industry, then you may take on a different lifestyle. Even by region, if you are in Atlanta, there's a high likelihood, especially when you think about black entrepreneurship and the abundance of it in Atlanta, there's a high likelihood that may fit a certain part of the demographic that's between 24 and 35. But his argument is that these grown folks don't have time to come support you, discover you, and find new music. That's odd that you say that. Every single Monday here, we do Critique My Beats and Songs. My demographic is mostly 24 to 35, 35 to 45. We welcome everybody. It is all over the place that you're seeing, especially on the internet, folks being exposed to new styles of music from people who are different races, creeds, genders, any kind of category that you could check off. There's more than enough evidence of that outside whatever bubble or whatever demographic that he's talking about. So I don't understand the logic in that one.
So now, at what point do we tell people it's okay? Like, cause I feel like, and especially in our culture, we don't tell them it's okay to pivot.
No, I don't think we tell them it's okay to pivot, but I will say, I'm going to argue against that. You can't name one rapper alive, and I don't give a fuck what nobody say, that can rap better than Hov.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
I mean, you may feel different depending on what brand of rap or what style of rap that you like, but it's been a long time since I heard Hov get out-rapped on any of these features.
Hov is 50-something years old.
Hov's in 30 though. Hov started at 26.
I'm talking about today at 50-something years old, Hov can drop a verse on any song. If every rapper if we had a self-destruction record where 19 rappers have a verse, if Hov is on there, it's a rap.
Is he lying?
You see what he did on God Did? But Hov is smart. He talks to his age demographic.
That is the key. Why the music industry keeps pushing this narrative of this being a young man's sport. It's so difficult to manipulate someone who knows better, who's been around longer, maybe even someone who's dabbled in business for their own and happened to get into music, to manipulate them than it is a young mind who all they can see is the money that you're offering, the opportunities you're offering, the awards that they may be having access to. Not to mention, when you get a young artist that has influence over a young demographic, you can manipulate that through marketing for a lot longer. There's a longer cycle you can go through.
We all love music. Nigga, I was just in my office. When I want to feel something, I play Hov Just Landed in Rome, nigga. All hell, Caesar's home, nigga. Nigga, that's hard as fuck, bro. What, nigga? That's hard. I think that the problem, the unk, the auntie, the old head, those comments are what make us think rap is an old man's game, a young man's game. Rap is not a young man's game. Rap is about people. Rap is about relating to people. So if a 30-year-old rapper come and talk about 30-year-old shit, he gonna win.
But I'm talking about
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Thank you, Ray. Doesn't this ultimately come back to who you're talking to and how you approach it? Isn't that marketing? How do I make my message the most clear to the people that need to hear it the most? That is marketing 101. Why is it that when it comes to hip hop, there's this weird ageism bias that immediately you're too old to be doing that?
Your fan base should look like you. Let me tell you something. I said this on the show. Do you know that LL Cool J, Rakim, and Big Daddy Kane all were born in 1968? Jay-Z was born in 1969. Why do you think that they're considered classic hip hop and he's not? Because he started in 96.
Interesting. We always bundle up certain names based upon when they hit the mainstream. He talks about LL Cool J. He talks about Rakim. We always judge them based upon the era that they first made their popularity. But then he brings up Jay-Z and says, hey, he's born around the same time period, but he's not considered old school in the same sense that you would consider a Rakim or an LL Cool J. He believes the reason for that is because he didn't pop until 96.
If you came after Biggie, you're not considered old school no more. If you came before Biggie, you are. You know who was on fire when Nas and Big dropped? Kid and Play. Think of exactly.
That's crazy.
House Party came out in 91.
Not the A&R saying that's crazy. Not the A&R who was just giving out the game, looking around and saying, that's crazy. Some great hip-hop history. I'm not saying that anybody who positions themselves as an A&R needs to know it all, but if you're going to speak so boldly about who can or can't do certain things at a certain age, it's important to know how the history of this culture has been.
Point is that Biggie came a year after Kid and Play. Everybody after them is not considered old school in rap, and they've been able to last. It's about talking to who you are. So remember, Kane and them was kids when they came out. They was rapping kid shit. Hov was saying, he said, you saying you want money like Cosby, who wouldn't? Like, he was rapping grown man rap when he was 26, 27. That's why he's their age, but he feels like they're years apart. It's because he rapped to his audience. He did not rap to the youth. He rapped to niggas that was getting money like him. And if you was a young nigga, what's the one thing you want to get? So if you a rapper listening, stop trying to talk to the young man. Like, the word, I hate when artists bring up TikTok. If you don't exist at TikTok, fuck it. Is Tech Nine on TikTok?
Sheesh.
Is Killer Mike worried about TikTok?
Nah.
No, they just talking to their audience. That's why it works.
This is true.
So it's not a young man's game. We just try to make it a young man's game.
A few points I want to bring up. I want to go back to this Instagram post where I had this conversation with a fellow DIYer named Chris Is My Middle. He's the reason why I even came to this post. These are my initial thoughts after seeing the clip, and I still feel the same way. I told him, I said, this is too easy. I said, it's unfortunate that some of us don't hold rap as an art form to a higher standard. While I agree that it's not appealing for rappers in their 30s to be rapping mindlessly like they're in their 20s, I, as an MC, also view rappers as writers. Lessons I learned through songwriting helped me author my first book. As I get older, I intend to sharpen my writing and music offering. My demographic will ultimately reflect the value and appeal of the topics I write about. Telling someone like me it's time to hang it up while not keeping that same energy for a writer like 75-year-old Stephen King, who continues to write novels that appeal to teens, is hilarious. Yo, what is it about rap where age keeps becoming a topic of conversation? Because this is not the only time. I've had a few of you tag me in different posts, but what is it about hip hop? Because everything that you give me as an argument in terms of you're talking to a younger demographic, authors do that too. Why do I keep saying authors? Because I started doing some research and I looked up who are considered the best authors of this year. Because I truly mean that when I say that certain rappers are indeed skilled writers. Their storytellers, their utilization of metaphors and similes, their grasp on double entendres. Those who write like that, to me, are very skilled writers. Even those who are not lyrical miracle rappers. Those who have a penmanship for songwriting and being able to say clever things, to me, those are still writers, right? Because every writer's not made the same, especially authors. So I looked up on Time Magazine, and I said, what are the best books this year? Because I want to see what those authors' ages are. Pico Iyer made a book called The Half-Known Life in Search of Paradise. 66 years old. Next best book, Catherine Lacey, 38 years old. King, A Life, from best-selling author Jonathan Eig. 59. If we consider ourselves writers, When could there be an expiration date upon our writing? When you consider yourself a songwriter, it's in the name. When could there really be an expiration date upon this skill set that you've invested so much time into? I look at somebody like a Lupe Fiasco, who looks at this as an art form that he has taught at universities. When you see this as an art form and you continue to find ways to be better, you should get better with time. You should evolve at this craft. But it's interesting to hear not only A&Rs talk about rap like this, but even to hear rappers themselves talk about this. Another story that has been going supremely viral has been this independent country artist named Oliver Anthony. Rich Man North of Richmond has been going supremely viral because it is a song that is highly relatable. How old is Oliver Anthony, by the way? Oliver Anthony is 31 years old.
Oliver Anthony has become an overnight sensation with his song Rich Man North of Richmond. He is humble and as real as they get. I mean, hell, the man has turned down an $8 million music industry offer and has had several others.
The song speaks about the same people offering him the deal. And he's like, my life is simple. I got my camper and I enjoy my lifestyle. And I don't want no parts of your business. DIYers, you know I love it. You know I love it. You know I love it. I had a show yesterday and I was speaking to one of my OGs, an artist named Propaganda, legendary artist from out here. We spoke at length about this topic of hip hop and the guilt trip they put upon you based upon your age. And I asked him, I say, as you get older, how do you find peace in these conversations? And he said, you know what I recognized? A lot of my peers, and including myself, needed some therapy. That may not be the explosion of an answer that you were looking for, but it seems to me there's a lot of projecting. It seems to me there's a lot of failed artists turned A&Rs, and I'm not saying that about the gentleman Juju. I don't know his history like that, but there's a lot of failed artists that turn A&R that start to project this poison amongst artists that are trying to find traction, that are trying to find ways to monetize what they're doing, that are already in their head because creativity and having to expose that to human beings is already a vulnerable place to be. We chose it, so we take all of the consequences that come with it, but it's already a vulnerable place to be. Matter of fact, just being a man or a woman in your mid-30s, approaching your 40s, you already are in your head about the things that you had planned for yourself. I think the last thing that we want to hear is somebody from a dying industry, I said it, a dying industry, talk about what someone should be doing at a particular age in an industry they don't know shit about. The truth of the matter is, you're not too old. You'll never be too old until you deem that you're too old for this shit. Now, your body may react differently. For instance, me at the show that I had last night, I was jumping around like a damn fool. I was having fun. And you know what I heard after that show? You've gotten so much better with just the clarity and the cadence that you perform with live. You're no longer yelling. It's like you're getting better with time. Interesting to hear. Always loved your music, but how did you find another notch? Well, it's because I love what I do. Even as I'm icing my 38-year-old ankle because I was jumping around like a fool, I love what I do. If rap never existed, I would still be writing books because I'm a writer. Who you are is not what you do, it's how you do it. I love being creative. For those of you that are already grasping or are trying to find some sense in how you could be doing something that you did in your 20s at a higher level, or what does that look like? I challenge you. One of us got to be the first one to deliver music that explains what is it like in 38, approaching 40. What does your life consist of? I think even this notion that you can't relate that to a younger artist is bullshit. Jay-Z at 26 talked about things that people who wanted to get money could relate to. Well, that appeals to a 26-year-old, a 36-year-old, a 46-year-old, a 56-year-old. These are evergreen topics. And I think that the better that we become with our pen game, the better that we can accurately speak to where we're at. It won't matter if people in our circle, our age group, are going to lounges. It won't matter if they only pop out because they have families. They will figure out a way to incorporate that into their life because it brings them value. As long as you continue to create, as long as you continue to do it at a high level and you love what you do, that love cannot be ignored. That energy cannot be ignored. And the last thing that I would ever do is listen to anybody out here that's not doing it.
the suits out the booth.
Those are my thoughts, though. Let me know what you think.
DIY.
DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.